think was it May last year or June?
It was, I think, the very end of May, like May 26th.
Oh God, it was right when the police started rioting. Anyway,
yes,
it was happy times. We're in much better times now, and Ben's actually been playing live. I haven't, but this is still a virtual thing. Hello from Australia. Good on you. Yes, I'm in a cave of mystery. This is right outside of the Fortress of Pruitude. The show will be on Saturday night at 5 o'clock. Me and Ben Gleib. Who do we have? Jen Sanderson opening. We're getting
Jen
a feature act.
Sanderson is hosting. It is her first show back with child.
Ben, you've joined, but you haven't asked to be in my video somehow.
There you go.
People ask all the time, which I think is hilarious because I'm not going to let you in. There we are. I'm only going to let, there we go. Go live with Ben Gleib. It's so dark where I am. Yes, there's a vernal equinox in my room. Every time I turn on my phone, every time I comb my hair, thoughts of you get in my eyes. No, nothing's working.
It's not working now? Turn your Instagram volume all the way down. Your phone volume all the way down, and then you should be able to still hear me.
Now it works.
Now it works. Great.
There's our Ben. Hello, everybody. There's
hello, my friend. Hello, friends.
Are you gonna
hello, all.
Post? What's the best link? They can go to gregproops.com because it's the first link there. They can also go to nowhere.
I just sent the comment right now. If you can pin that, Greg, just hold on to it.
Let's see where it is here. Yo, it's Ben Gleib. Yes, it is. Love that you posted. Thank you. That picture of me and Jennifer is from San Francisco in the old days.
That's a great photo, you guys. I've never seen you as like a young buck like that.
Right, with a baseball hat on and a gold chain and a skull shirt. I'm wearing a Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo shirt. I don't know it reminds me of an old joke by a great Australian comedian named Bob Down. He'd come on in this canary yellow suit and he'd go, "Not a lot of people can wear this color, and I'm one of them." The yellow is just too much. I don't see your so excited for the one. Thank you.
It's a long comment. It's like a big paragraph. You should notice it. I can post it again here. I'll post it again right now.
Yeah, post it again right now and see if I can, because I'm aged. Sorry, I can't be there for the show a little bit. No.
Do you see it there, Gregory?
What is it on your StreamYard or on the?
No, on your Instagram. It's like a nice 3-sentence thing there.
We do have the best stories. No, I don't see it. Sorry, I can't be there.
I'll do it again right now. It should be the one that pops up right now on the bottom of your toggle to the bottom of your Instagram comments. Or
I'm toggling.
Push down to them.
Oh.
Do you see that, puppy?
No.
Hello to everybody on my other platforms. Great to be with you again. Here with Greg Proops. I don't know how we're ever going to figure out the tech in advance because you kind of have to go live to figure out the tech. So it's hard.
Right. What if you posted it on the Instagram, right? You say.
I did. I posted it 3 times in your comments.
Right. And I still can't fucking find it.
I'll do it a 4th time. It should come up at the very bottom of your comments right now. And then do you see it? Greg and Gleib, it's a G thing. 1-year anniversary, et cetera, et cetera. Do you see the comments on the bottom of your Instagram?
I do, but you're not there somehow. It's Kristen Morales, then Phoenix Rising, and she wrote "Code isn't working."
And right under that is me.
No,
weird. It's not showing you mine. Anyway, you can tell people.
Why is that? Anyway,
that is very weird.
I'll post something on it somehow. What does that camera button do? Invite people to go live? No, that's not what I want.
Here, I'm going to put tinyurl.com/ I'll just put the URL live. tinyurl.com/live June 5. That is so weird. Live June 5, and it's Saturday, June 5. There we go. I just posted a shorter thing. Do you see that?
Yes. Now, how do you pin it?
So weird. It wouldn't show you the bigger one. So strange.
Right. Report, comment, hide. There, pinned.
Great.
I think it's pinned. There it is.
Pinned. It is pinned.
Yay!
So that's the URL you can get. And if you want to use the promo code LIVETIME, one word, you can get a discount ticket to join Gregory and I.
I don't even know how much the tickets are. What are they, like 15 or something? It's pretty reasonable, as I recall.
Yep, $15. They missed the early bird, but it's $15 for regular price, $30 for VIP meet and greet included. After the show, Greg and I'd like to talk with you, find people. And but if you use the promo code, you get a few bucks off. It's promo code Lifetime. You get a few dollars off, and you get to enjoy it for a little bit cheaper, and all that good stuff. It's the 1 year anniversary, like Greg said, of It's a G Thing with me and Greg. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 5th, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, on Zoom. You can join us from anywhere on planet Earth. Thank you, Phoenix Rising, paying full price. Appreciate that.
A meet and greet's available, yeah. I think it's 15 clams, which for a comedy show is pretty light.
Pretty light, absolutely.
And we'll both probably be back on the road by... So tell me about your gigs you've been doing. Are they like partially filled, half house type affairs, or is that how they're doing it for safety requirements?
I'm doing mostly outdoor venues. They built this incredible new outdoor venue, Supernova, in Hollywood with just fire lineups.
Yeah,
it's in the round, and it's outdoors, and it's beautiful. You're nowhere. You're a good 20 feet from any audience member, or at least if you stand in the middle of the stage, at least 15 feet from any audience member. I feel like you should do it, Greg. What's your thought for not doing an outdoor venue distanced from people?
I'm still anxious, and I'm not altogether, as Jennifer said to me, we've made it this far, and I don't really want to, even though I've had both my vaccinations, I'm really still trying to limit contact with people and stuff. I have a broom. I fly over them. I wave at them. I ate lunch outside with my wife the other day, which is pretty exciting. And we actually saw a friend and had lunch with her, and she's fully vaccinated, and we hugged. And I don't think I've hugged another person well, the new rule is if you say last year, you mean 2019, which was a 15-month year that went till the very middle of March 2020.
Yes.
I don't think that's the last time I ever have touched anyone. Basically, I've elbow bumped a few people in the last few weeks. And Jennifer and I went on a little holiday, which was nice, but we didn't mingle too much.
Where'd you go?
Palm Springs. It was cool.
Nice. So why do all that but not do stand-up? What's the difference?
Right. It's just being in a crowd. I think it's or having a crowd around me.
I understand. It's just too many breathers.
Right. I want to get to the end of the summer, I think, before too many breathers. Exactly. It's a droplet festival.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I even get jumpy now. I'm walking down the street or something and someone's smoking a cigarette and you can smell it, because all I can think of is, oh my God, that's how we get it. It's all a respiratory. So,
the first place that I went when Carmel and I, when they finally relaxed restrictions, they were opening restaurants for outdoor. Carmel and I tried to find a place late night that was open. All we found was this one restaurant. We walk in, didn't realize it was a hookah bar, and there's literally people blowing aerosols. They were like just blowing at us. There was a cloud everywhere.
It's like having a science project demonstrating to you how droplets are transferred.
Yes, it really was.
Big smoke coming at you, like, oh my God.
It was so funny. It was totally ridiculous.
Yeah. And also, as Weirdo 666 says, I'm found around people, but I find myself allergic to them. That's the other thing is, even going out and doing stuff, like we went to shopping yesterday and kind of goofed around outside, I still feel real anxious. I don't think I've completely got comfortable with the whole idea of going back to. Also, first of all, let's see. When people say normal, the world wasn't normal before, you guys. The world was messed up.
Pretty flawed.
Yeah.
Largely flawed.
I mean, it's a great time to deal with lots of things. And I feel like a bunch of the things that have happened during the pandemic that have affected our behavior are things worth keeping. For instance, wearing a mask on a plane is something I intend to do, because I used to get the flu or a cold, 3-4 times a year?
Really?
Once or twice, certainly in the winter. Like I remember going to New York a few years ago, and it was freezing cold, and I had to go to the hospital because I got sick. And I had a kidney stone. Anyway, I passed the kidney stone, so that was fine.
How painful was that?
more painful than anything you could possibly imagine. I assure you.
Oh my God. I would just quit peeing. I would quit peeing for life.
Right. I still didn't tell them where the gold was. And, but because I was in that emergency room in New York City, I got something, right? Because 3 days later, my voice went, I couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? I had to come home and take antibiotics for a week. So
Ooh.
I feel like all the icky places we're exposed to and touch, like airplane bathrooms and airport restaurants and stuff, places where millions of people go. I always wash my hands a million times a day. It was news to me to find out that loads of people weren't washing their hands a million times a day.
But I'm sort of the opposite on that, because I obviously wash when I leave the restroom, but I rarely, other than that, wash my hands, other than after like walking my dog or using the restroom. I do, of course, and I'm not too afraid of stuff, and I don't wash after I shake hands or whatever. And I never get sick, typically, not in COVID years. I almost never get sick. I feel like it does build your immunity up to be exposed to these things.
I guess you're probably right. I don't know. I mean, I would get a cold every year or some kind of respiratory thing. And I haven't had one, knock on my head, in a year. And I think they were saying there was basically no flu season in America last year.
Right.
Because everybody wore masks and stayed away from each other. So now we know what the trick is.
Or conspiracy theorists say they were just diagnosing flu cases as COVID cases.
Right. And we're, by the way, our special guest on Saturday show is the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. He's going to be coming on and talking about some of his great ideas and some of the ways we can fix this country from the terrible direction it's going in by representing everyone.
You can smother out the COVID by killing them with my blanket, take my pillow, and you smother the life out of all reason and rational thought.
Yeah, evidently Giuliani was doing ads for him today on his YouTube channel, which is just like, you guys, this is broken up into talk about seditious Gilligan's Island here. We're basically losing the Islanders one by one here, and yeah, I think you do. As Kayla said here, you haven't gotten sick once, thank goodness. We none of got, although Ben had the COVID.
I did have the COVID, and it kind of almost killed me. So there's that.
I know, right? I know. I've known a lot of people with it. My aunt has it now. My uncle had it. People I work with here in LA, a couple of people had it. I'm pretty sure a friend of mine passed of it at the very beginning of this, when no one knew quite what the symptoms were, and people were dying of different things. Like, I know there's that danger with blood clots, and I know a cat who had a blood clot and like that. But I don't know. It was right at the beginning, and he lived in New York when New York was ground zero,
pounded. And I had the blood clot
last year.
Yeah, and I had the blood clot, and luckily, I mean, that's what almost killed me, but I survived it and survived my blood thinner regimen as well. But very, very intense experience. I also would like to take this moment to remind people that our show is funnier than this.
Than this discussion on health and well-being. It is, and it's on Saturday. We'll probably have a special guest. I'm working on it. We're going to have a feature act. Jen Sanderson will be opening for us, who recently gave birth to a small Jen Sanderson. And well done her. She was working literally. She did a show with me, I think 2 days before or 3 days before. It was the week she was going to pop, as they say in the business. And so she is bold.
She is a troop. She's a trooper, and it was Jennifer Sanderson now with a miniature Sanderson, and it's a beautiful comedy duo they've created.
I can't wait to see the active Sanderson and Sanderson, and I really feel like that baby's got the theater bug. Let's just be honest.
That is true. that or the dancing bug. One of the two. Her shoulders never stop moving.
Right. So that's happening on Saturday, and we're wrangling. Well, yes, we will have another comedian on the show.
Yes.
And
5 Pacific. If you have anything to say about it.
8:00 Eastern. And and then in the Midwest, probably 7. And then in Colorado, 6, is it?
There's do your own math. I tell them do your own math. I tell them do your own math, but that's also part of the country where math is hard.
Right?
So that's a tough call. It's a tough call for them. But you just got to subtract or add 1 or 2 there. But it's 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And we do improv games. If you haven't joined us ever, we play improv games, Whose Line Is It Anyway style. We take questions from the audience. We're going to come up with a special segment to celebrate the 1 year as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't caught one, this is the best one to catch. It's really, really, really a good time. A lot of people say that you and I are the comedy duo that no one saw coming and no one asked for, but people enjoy when they're forced to enjoy it.
I think that's a great way to put it. No one asked for it. No one saw it coming. No one wanted it. And yet here we are a year later, still plying this and plugging away. By the way, we dress up. We groom. I put on cologne. We both shower and shave. And I noticed, Ben, you've gone. You're pretty clean shaven today.
Yes, I had to do Ashley Banfield's new show on News Nation. It's my 5th straight week doing it. A blast. I've done it 5 weeks in a row. It's really fun. And I shave for her because it's a news situation. I feel like the news, for whatever reason, even though they like to claim to reproduce reality, they don't want somebody with facial hair, even though that's a good 60% of the population. So I try to indulge them in obfuscating the facts.
Do you wear a tie?
No, I wore this with a suit coat. I've worn a tie on it once or twice. I've also worn like a casual army type jacket once or twice. I kind of mix it up. She encourages us to drink alcohol with her on these Friday comedy segments that tape on Thursdays. So it's a new era for the news, and I'm all game. Any change that can bring something different to the news game, I have no problem with that.
What network is it on?
It is on News Nation. It's a new news network. It's in 80 million homes. It's on TV, on cable TV.
Okay. I remember Ashley.
Yeah, she's wonderful. It's supposed to be like a middle ground network and not biased, and who knows if that's going to be able to be true or not.
That,
yeah. Steve Manaconda says
it wasn't that are owned by corporations or biased.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a fun tip for our listeners and viewers. That's why our show's fun, is because Ben and I aren't answering to anyone. And we work for you guys. If you don't buy tickets, then we don't get paid. And so it's really a matter of that's the best part, I think, about being a comic now, is other than when you're on things that are on network TV, there really aren't that many. We can do our own podcasts. We can do our own comedy shows. We don't have a lot of censoring. I remember years ago I was on a show that shall remain nameless, and it was a late night network talk affair. And I was going to do a joke on it where I said, what was the joke? We're afraid of the wrong people in this country. Most people are afraid of young black men. I'm more afraid of middle-aged white guys who've recently lost their job. They don't seem to have any anger management or really. And I was called by the producer and they said, could you say urban people were afraid of urban people?
Ooh. Meaning
urban meant black? And I said, no, I can't say that. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't speak in code. I said, I'm not here to use your advertising lingo. You know, black radio is urban radio, even though loads of black people live in rural areas. It's like saying all poor people are one nationality. It's ridiculous.
That's wild.
So what happened? Kind of weird things happen. Well, they let me do it. In the end, I won. But I had to do it myself. I didn't make my management do it. I had to say to them, I will drop the joke. You know what I mean? Rather than drop the word black men. Well, they've even told me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No, well, the thing was, like I said, that we put a lot of black men in jail. I don't remember young black men starting the war against Iraq. I don't remember young black men ruining the economy. You know, like trying to show that it's old white guys.
Yeah,
they just didn't want to hear the word black. It freaked them out, but they let me do it in the end. So
that's at least good. But they're afraid of even everything. They are more afraid of even offending any corporation than offending black people or offending white people. I've been told for late night sets, do you mind changing Reese's to peanut butter cup? I'm like, it's like Xerox. I can't say Xerox. Nope. I'm pretty sure the good people at Reese's aren't going to freak out if I'm making a joke when I was a younger, more mature comic about having sex with the Reese's peanut butter cup, because they say there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. And I was like, there's some wrong ways. There's some wrong ways. And they're like, I don't know if you should say. It's not going to affect their stock price. I promise you. Okay. It's a stupid joke. I'm giving them, if anything, free advertising. Steve Manaconda says, if it wasn't for Proops, I'd never have known Gleib. I'm in your debt, Greg, as am I, Greg.
I'm very sorry about that, Steve. It's not my fault. Ben reached out to me. Let's be honest. Years ago when Letterman was on NBC, he used to make fun of GE all the time. Because General Electric owned NBC and they made nuclear weapons. And so he'd make reference to the fact that they were also an arms manufacturer. And the execs up the way high up, you know how there's a network, but then there's the people who own the network, and then there's the money behind the network. It's like saying, you know, a boss you meet here in Hollywood has other bosses that are money bosses that are with giant multinationals, and they liked it because they said it humanized them. So they were, and what's his name said that to me too. What was his name? He talked like this. He used to work with Jimmy Fallon. Ben Stein. Ben Stein. I was making fun of W at the beginning of the Iraq War in 2003, and Ben said to me, "Every time you make fun of him, it humanizes him to the public. And I'm a big W fan, so you should keep making fun of him." He actually said that to me. And I thought, well, maybe it does and maybe it doesn't, but we're satirists.
We have to.
And yeah, we have to. We have to name them by name. I mean, I never called 45 by his name. I called him 45 for 4 years because I just couldn't say the name. And everyone else was saying it anyway. And
perhaps the tweet that I'm most proud of, judging on the number of times I retweeted my own tweet, was when Biden finally won. I said, from now on, we should, instead of using 86th for the term to get rid of somebody you don't want around, it's 46th. You've been 46th, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did I want to say?
I wanted to talk to you.
Yes. No, also, just quickly, Janat Majid just said she just bought her ticket. Thank you so much, Janat. We appreciate it. Anybody else that wants to buy one, go to tinyurl.com/live June 5. That'll take you directly to the ticket buying page, or go to nowherecomedyclub.com or gregproops.com to get your ticket, or bengleib.com, any of those sites. But tinyurl.com/live June 5 will get you there directly. If you want a discount, use the promo code LIVETIME, one word, for a discount to see just a fun, silly, lighthearted improv games and audience interaction show. It's a we've been doing it for a damn year. We've done probably about 10 of these, I think, Greg.
Yeah, I would think we're up to 10 or so. And no, I'm not in the closet. I just have the lights down so that you don't see. Well, this part of the Fortress of Prupitude is the Cave of Mystery, so, or the Cave of the Winds, if you will. Yeah, this is like we do politics too and stuff, but we do it in a hilariously, often with characters and sketches and stuff like that. A friend of mine said to me years ago when I was in college and we were in a comedy group together, he said, the message carries a lot better if you show behavior, you know, as opposed to like, with stand-up comic, you have a laser beam and you get to point it at the things that you want to examine. And with improv, and this, I'm going to mix a metaphor so hard here that it's going to break to pieces. You're walking backwards, perhaps even sailing backwards down a river, because you know where you've been with improv, but you do not know what the hell is going to happen next. And so you use all the information you've been given and you keep trying to do something new and always adding information. Whereas stand-up is a cumulative, you know, you're trying to build, ride, and then get to a big point and then crush it there and then tag it a couple times to keep that. But improv, I think, has that fantastic quality of what you lose in craft or the crafting. I think you gather in the magic of the spontaneity, and actually things happen that you didn't even fucking know were going to happen, and that's when everybody loses their shit. And that's
absolutely
when it's really funny.
That's why I love watching you work. I myself have never done improv. My half of the show is tightly scripted, but it somehow works in perfectly with Greg's mind, and that's what makes this magical for us.
It's Ben's meticulous writing and craftsmanship. By the way, Ben writes in an illuminated manuscript with using a quill pen, much like the medieval monks of old. So
that's right.
It's a really meticulous and painstaking process.
And I graph out all of Greg's possible answers and possible improvs based on any possible suggestion. I've got a wall full. I wouldn't say I put a beautiful mind to shame, but I do. Dr. Nash he's taken leads because I try to, you know, map out all potentialities and possibilities. And so far I've only been stumped once. The rest of it is let's just say I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to predict your mind. And it's not easy to do because you got one of the more out of the box minds there are, but it's just, I've got great graphing abilities.
Yeah. The algorithms are amazing. And if you could see, well, you can't now, but on the night, much like the movie with Tom Cruise, where he's the police detective in the future, and they do the calculating in front of them on an enormous board. That's what it looks like in Ben's studio. There's just an infinite amount. I'll say something, and then immediately one of his algorithms that he's written comes to play. As he said, he's only missed once, which statistically is impossible.
Yes.
He missed once.
Yes. And?
Right. And they're always taught in improv to always say yes. And of course, in the sticklers for improv will say you're blocking if you don't. But nothing's funnier than stopping a scene dead with a joke. And
absolutely.
I work with Ryan Stiles, and Ryan can do anything on stage improvising because his swag has a lot to do with it. Let's be honest. He will come into the scene, slow it down to his level, say something hilarious, stop everything dead, and then he'll keep going. And you're like, aha, you know, so it's just fantastic. If you stay in character.
Well, also people think that yes and means that you can't ever use the word no or take it a different way. It just means you can't negate the reality. I can say, I disagree with that, Mr. Thompson. I think that, and then you can take the scene a different place. You just can't say, Mr. Thompson doesn't exist. What are you talking? Who's that?
Right. Good morning, Dad. I'm not your dad.
I'm not your dad.
Those are my favorite improvs.
But you can't just say, that. I'm not your dad. I'm your stepdad. I've told you for the last time.
Right. I'm your mother. When will you get it through your head? You know, there's a million ways to do it. But my friend Jim Sweeney, who's a great improviser from England, said, the reason you learn all the rules is so that you can break all the rules when you get on stage. The rules are there to teach you, not like, you know, there's certain types of improv groups that they're very fussy about the rules. And that always made me laugh because it's like, I learned it from other kids. I didn't go to the Improv Academy of America or whatever. I know people do and stuff.
But Greg, if it always made you laugh, then why did you change that way? It seems like a pretty good hit record to always make you laugh. I would say you should do it the way they do it.
You mean to be funny? There's no challenge, man. If you can't alienate the audience, then what can you do? As a club owner said to me in Houston years ago, at a club that's no longer there, sadly, that everybody did a live album at because he recorded it all on a CD. He recorded every one of your sets on a CD. At the end of the week, this is the early 2000s, he would give you a stack of CDs. So every comic, I know Greg Barrett made an album there. I made an album there. And you could make a record off your sets. What the hell was the name of that club? Anyway, I think that I gave it to an engineer to cut for me because I thought he would have a better ear than I would, and I would be too picky. And he listened to the album, 4 sets or whatever, and I mentioned Houston 1,000 times at least, and he called it Dallas Likes Me. And I thought that was the funniest title. I really, really wanted to call the album Dallas Likes Me, recorded live in Houston. You know,
that's so funny.
It ended up being, I think it was Houston, We Have a Problem or something. I think I went with that idiotic title. But after that, I made an album in England in the 90s that was on cassette. And that's how old I am.
Wow.
It came on cassette, which people still used in the 90s. And the first one was called Greg Proops Live or something. And I let the guy from the record company, I signed with a little label, right, in England, that he did a lot of comedy. In 90s were a big boom time for comedy in England too. And he named it. And I was like, why can't I name it? It didn't occur to me that I should just go, no, I get to name it. And then the next one we did was called Back in the UK, which was like, what? When did I leave the UK? You know what I mean? Like, what I wanted to do was call it the Proops Live at Leeds. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the Who Live at Leeds album cover. It's a brown paper bag. It looks like it's, parcel, and it says the Who Live at Leeds. And I always wanted to write the Proops because I did an album at Leeds. And of course I didn't do it. And the pictures on them are awful. The comedy's all right, but my voice is a register higher because it's, 25 years ago.
And an old cassette. I mean, I feel like old cassettes kind of do that to you too.
Right. But yeah.
I'm one of the dumber people when it comes to albums, Greg. At least you have albums out there. I don't know that there's a comedian that has made anything of their comedy career, like I'd like to at least be able to say that I have, that doesn't have, I have my special, but I don't have an album out there, not playing on the radio. I have some, they turned my special into tracks on Sirius I don't see a dime of, but I don't have an album out there. And I would go to Atlanta, my old favorite club, the Laughing Skull, which I know you've played.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that club, this little speakeasy behind the bathrooms with the Vortex Bar and Grill. And for a period of a few years when I would go there, our friend Margaret Cho was living there working on a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would come and feature for me all weekend, which was insane for the legend Margaret Cho to feature for me.
Right.
And so one year I told her I was going to be recording an album all weekend because that club also recorded CDs for you. And you could get the digital files also. And the next year she came to come feature again. And she says, "Where's your album? I didn't ever see the album come out." And I said, "I don't know. I just wasn't sure. I didn't get to editing it. And I don't know." She's like, "Ben, you need an album out there. This weekend, I will watch all your shows and I will produce your album for you. It'll be executive produced by Margaret Cho." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And she introduced me on it. And it was amazing. I went to her apartment then on the weekend and we edited literally every line we were going to take out, everything we were going to keep, edited it. That's the album I sell to this day at my shows. And I still haven't gotten it online to be sold or played on the radio or anything.
Why?
Because Barry Katz, my manager back at the time, told me, "It sounds like you're in front of 28 people on a Tuesday." I'm like, "That's because that's what it was, Barry." But I like that it's intimate.
Right. I like the intimacy. I don't understand why everything has to be a concert for the Americas, like Frank Sinatra. We're in Argentina at the, the Super Bowl. I love little rooms. And the Laughing Skull is one of my favorites because it's literally 50, 70 people or whatever.
I love it.
It's just small.
Yeah, 78 people.
Yeah. And it's just, I did the podcast there a bunch of times and had some of the greatest, right? Just tremendous.
I would do my Sunday shows as my podcast. And that's where I saw your podcast and you and I went and smoked a joint afterwards.
Right. You can't listen to everybody else. That's the thing is we end up thinking people's advice. And the truth is I should have named all my albums. You should have put out more than one album. I had an album that I recorded in 2019 that I sat on for a whole year during 45 and during the plague and just sat on it and didn't edit it. And now a bunch of it's dated. And now I really don't want to put an album out where I bitch about 45 for an hour because it seems so dated and horrible. And let's move on from that. And I should have put that one out at the very beginning. But I hadn't made one in about 4 years. And I made one like in 2018. And my wife goes, she goes, "You haven't made a record in a long time." And I went, "How many?" I'm not kidding. I went, "I don't have that much new material." And she went, "I got an idea. You're a comedian. Why don't you write some?" And so I did. And then the album that I haven't put out, I was at the Punchline. They were going to close the Punchline in San Francisco. Then there was this big hue and cry, and Chappelle showed up in this, and they ended up saving the Punchline. Wow. The whole premise of my album was that I was going to tell Punchline stories, and it was going to be about this club that wasn't there anymore. And literally the week that I went out to do my show, I get a call from the general manager, and she's like, "We're staying open." So that was how the album opens, with me coming on stage going, "This was supposed to be an elegy." And now it's an elegy for a club that's still here. And I go, "By the way, I was hoping for a new club with a better dressing room and an Italian restaurant." I started listing all the things that the Punchline doesn't have, Instead of the smell of burnt nachos, I was kind of hoping for something more elegant, So, but listening to people is a really weird, like, they'll tell you, even your own manager who loves you sometimes will tell you something and you're like, you're thinking about show business like it's 1958.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right.
Because I remember being told, "We need to get you an HBO special or something." I'm like, HBO special is not going to put one fucking person in a room.
Same with the Showtime special. It puts a couple, but not a lot.
Your podcast puts more people in. This
yes, for sure. But Greg, speaking of 2021 thinking in this business, we have a great generous comment before we end this broadcast. Is Jessica Keibel just said she will give away 5 tickets to people right now. If they can't afford a ticket, they can get 5 tickets paid for by the very kind and generous Jessica Keibel, a great supporter of mine and ours. And so that is incredible. Thank you, Jessica. So
how do they do it?
So just a reminder, anybody watching here, if you don't get a live one right now, please do buy one at tinyurl.com/live June 5 or nowherecomedyclub.com. You can get a ticket. The show's tomorrow. Oh, sorry. It's on Saturday, June 5th at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. It's the 1-year anniversary of our Greg and Gleib, It's a G Thing Improv Games show. But if you want a free one, how do you want to give it away, Greg? Do you want to just give us the next 5 people that just give us a reason that they think they should get it, and we will judge whether the reason's good enough or not?
No, yeah, not too many hoops, just that.
Yeah, just give us a reason. We'll decide if the reason matters or not, or is good enough or not. Here we go. Thank you again for that, Jessica. So let's see here what reasons people want a.
Are you looking on Instagram here?
You look on Instagram, and I'll look on my other platforms, my YouTube, and my Facebook.
My book. I wrote it in 2015, and yes, it took a long time to write it because I was doing it on the road.
Michael Carmody said, "I'd love a ticket, Jess." So, what do you think, Greg? Is that a good enough reason?
That he'd love one? Yes.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. Great. Well done with that reason. You've won one. If you win one, I'll tell you in a moment how you get it, how you collect it. But let's give away these 5 first.
All right.
Okay. So that one came from YouTube, Jess. That's not on Insta. So there we go.
I got one here from Instagram. Diane says, because I'm unemployed and really need a laugh, and I know Diane for a long time, and I know that she's not lying. She is unemployed. It's Diane Shreve, Shreve on Instagram.
I got that written down. Jess, if you see anybody on Twitter that responds that they would like one, please let us know, because I don't know if my Twitter ones are coming in. But let me know if there's a name here you'd like us to give it away to, Jess, in the comments. I'm seeing your comments from Twitter. For some reason, seems to be the only one coming through. And we've got somebody said something else. Oh, Michael says, I'd be there virtually, but without the ticket, I couldn't be there virtually. Confusing, but you already got tickets. Hopefully that means something to somebody. Who else we got?
Rock Nation 2400 on Instagram. Rock Nation 2400 says, I just love and want a ticket. I've never seen you guys.
Excellent. Okay. I think that's a pretty good reason, and we're going to give you one. We're just going to get rid of all obfuscation there.
Weaver Jr., who are you? Oh, I see you. I can't see your face because it's very tiny on here. You work at the Punchline. You haven't been there since March. I know. Believe me, I'm asking Molly all the time when we're opening again. I want to come back and do. Punchline's kind of a big club for me because I've done New Year's there for the last 47 years, right after World War II ended. Oops. Oh,
and I have a comment now on YouTube from Jonathan Hodges. Please, I would like a ticket to the G Thing spot. What do you think, Greg?
No.
Yeah, we're skipping that. Okay, we're giving him one. He won. What an emotional roller coaster that was. Right. I love it,
How many
Jonathan.
do we have left here?
That is, we've given away 1, 2, 3, 4. One left to give away.
TINSMM. TIN like 10.
Tin is great. That's Tina. Tin is awesome.
Oh, okay. She says, I would love one because I live in New Zealand and it is winter.
Unfortunately, we can't give any to people from New Zealand on account of, you guys have a great winter going on right now. And we can't give winter tickets. And so that's the only problem, unless Greg overrules it.
I just looked down at the Proops Book of Code of Laws here, which was originated by Hammurabi in ancient Babylon. And it says here, evidently winter's exempted. So
amazing. Amazing. The ticket has been given to Tina. That is incredible. And yes, Greg, Murphy, obfuscation is today's word. Thank you for figuring that out.
Obfuscation is a great word.
It is indeed.
Gregoria, where are you?
That is 5.
Awesome.
That is 5 tickets.
Thank you so much. Who was the one who?
Jessica Keibel.
Jessica
Keibel. Very, very kind of you, Jessica. So here's how you guys collect those tickets, okay? Jessica will purchase them. We will get record of that purchase. And all you have to do right now, as soon as you can, please, so it's easier on my dear assistant, Jackie, just email Jackie at bengleibassistant@gmail.com. bengleibassistant@gmail.com. BENGLEIB assistant, all spelled out, gmail.com. Tell her you just want a ticket. I will send her your name so she can double confirm. Make sure you send her the name that I have here. So it's Tina, Michael Carmody, Diane Shreve, Rock Nation 2400, and Jonathan Hodges. And tell us also your Zoom name so we know to let you into the show. And you will receive from Ticket Tailor a confirmation with the link and all the show instructions to enjoy it. And so that's what happened. Email bengleibassistant@gmail.com right now. Those of you who didn't win, you can still get a discount ticket by going to tinyurl.com/live-June5. It's on screen right now on my platforms, and it's pinned at the bottom of Greg's Instagram. Use the promo code LIVETIME for a discount ticket, either to the show itself or the show and VIP meet and greet afterwards, where Greg and I dive deep into all things life, and we'll answer all of your questions. And so it is an absolute blast of a time. It's our 1-year anniversary. Please do buy a ticket now. If you're thinking about it, please buy it now so that Greg and I don't have to keep checking ticket sales and stressing if you're going to buy it anyway. Just buy it now so we can relax. I don't got this kind of time.
Right? I have a lot of anxiety. I stay up at night. I'm like, how many tickets have I sold? And just knowing that if you would buy it now, it would really, yes, bengleibassistant@gmail.com. And thank you for the people who, and thank you for giving those tickets away. This code didn't work earlier when I tried.
Greg and I go to bed, with our My Pillows, and that's the only thing that makes us cry ourselves to sleep. And we don't need also ticket stress. So if it didn't work, try the code Gleib Live. That may work, one word. I don't know why it wouldn't have worked, but try Gleib Live, GLEIB, and then worst case, if those don't work, I think you can try Brain Trust. I think that is set up as well. That's my podcast audience, but I haven't done a new podcast this week, so I can use that code for this. And that is the goods. It's going to be really fun, Greg. This has been the highlight of my pandemic, one of the bright spots. I love doing these shows with you, and we're going to give you guys an especially good one for our 1-year anniversary show this Saturday.
Months ago, I think we did one that was just off the chain. I couldn't believe how funny. I was crying laughing through the whole thing.
It was
Year's
so
was wild, but we did one on March, I think, or February. That was just like, oh my God.
I kept the HD, the SD cards from that one, so I have the actual studio footage from that one too.
No, I was just pissing myself laughing, and I was in the show, so that shows you how funny it was.
Much love to you, Greg. I can't believe we got through a whole one of these with your tech being perfect. That's mind-boggling.
I know. You know why?
Incredible.
Because I'm into the Cave of Mystery, and the Cave of Mystery is much closer to. See, I don't have internet like regular people. Mine is powered by magma. And so I need to be in this room where I'm much closer to the source. It's like being in Hawaii. The earth is young here.
I understand that. I need to maybe come over and just take a nap in there because I could use a refresh. Look at my skin. It's blotchy and it's strange, but I'll be better by tomorrow.
Yeah, you will. As long as you always have that smooth skin, you'll never lose a place in this business. You just need to spread yourself with emollients after the show.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll do my best.
Right?
Now that there's a lot of them available since the emoluments clause has been eroded.
Yeah, I know. Now we have to do reconciliation.
It's the only way to get things done these days, I reckon.
It is. You have to reckon. In other words, and then you get reconciled. Highlights of our pandemic. That's our album. Yeah,
indeed.
Who doesn't want a lighthearted look at the pandemic? Remember how Mad Magazine used to do? Dave Berg looks at relationships or whatever. I want to do one with Greg Proops looks at the pandemic.
Greg Proops looks back at 45 with nostalgia and anger.
Oh, sure. There's rancor. There's also laughs.
Make sure you check yourself before you rancor and reckon yourself. And that is Proops and Gleib. Tomorrow's the funny version. Thank you, guys. We'll see you very soon.
See you Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm leaving Instagram.
Ditto.
Let's see if I can make this happen.